everyone, welcome you back in my geography class. Today we will continue with the topic of the physical divisions of class 6 from the chapter Our Country India. In our last video, we have discussed about the three physiographic divisions that are the northern mountains, the northern plains and the Great Indian Desert. In today's video, we are going to discuss the other three physiographic divisions. So without wasting much of our time, let's get started. The Peninsula Plato. To the south of the northern plains, lies the Peninsular Plateau. The relief is highly uneven and it is triangular in shape. So the Peninsular Plateau is triangular in shape. Now the Peninsular Plateau is bordered by the Aravalli Hills on the northwest. Now let me tell you that Aravalli Hills is one of the oldest ranges of the world, and it is bordered by the Rajmahal Hills on the northeast. Here in the Peninsular Plateau, we will find numerous hill ranges, and the most important are the Vindhyas and the Satpuras. Here we will see that the Vindhyas and Satpuras are the most important hill ranges, and the rivers, the Narmada and the Tapi, flows through these ranges. So we can see that the Vindhyas and the Satpuras are the two most important hill ranges of the Peninsular Plateau, and the Narmada and Tapi are the rivers that flows through these ranges. The Narmada and Tapi are known as the west flowing rivers as they flow from east to west and they drains into the Arabian Sea. Here we have Narmada and Tapi. So Narmada and Tapi are the two rivers that flows from east to west and drains into the Arabian Sea. There are some other rivers which flows from west to east and drains into Bay of Bengal, and they are called the east flowing rivers, like the Godavari, the Krishna, the Kaveri, the Mahanadi. So these are the east flowing rivers. Now the Narmada River that flows through the Peninsular Plateau forms the Narmada Valley, and the Narmada Valley divides the Peninsular Plateau into two parts. Let us know which are the two parts. The Narmada Valley divides the Peninsular Plateau into the Central Highlands to the north and the Deccan Plateau to the south. Now we will see that there are the Western Ghats or the Sahyadris, and these are the hilly regions. It borders the plateau on the west and the Eastern Ghats borders the plateau on the east. So the Western Ghats borders the plateaus on the west. It is also known as the Sahyadris, and the Eastern Ghats borders the plateaus on the east. Now we will see that the Western Ghats are continuous. As you can see that the Western Ghats are continuous, whereas the Eastern Ghats are broken and uneven. So the Eastern Ghats are broken and uneven. Now the plateau is rich in minerals like coal, iron ore, and mining is an important activity which is performed by the people living in the Peninsula Plateau. Now let us move ahead with the next physiographic divisions, that are the coastal plains. The coastal plains The plateau is surrounded by the narrow coastal plains on the western and on the eastern side. On the west, between the Western Ghat and the Arabian Sea lies the western coastal plains. So here we have the western coastal plains. On the east, between the Eastern Ghats and the Bay of Bengal lies the eastern coastal plains. So here we have the eastern coastal plains. Now the western coastal plain is narrower. So the western coastal plain is narrower and the eastern coastal plain is much wider. Now if we talk about the division of the western coastal plains, we will see that the western coastal plains are divided into four main parts. What are those? The Gujarat coast in the north, the Konkan coast up to Goa, the Kannauj coast from Goa to Mangalore, and the Malabar coast from Mangalore to Kanyakumari. Now, the western coastal plains are divided into four main parts: the Gujarat coast in the north, the Konkan coast up to Goa, that is from Maharashtra to Goa, the Kannada coast from Goa to Mangalore, and the Malabar coast from Mangalore to Kanyakumari. Now, let us talk about the eastern coastal plains. The eastern coastal plains are divided into two main parts: the northern Sircars to the north and the Coromandel coast to the south. So we can see that the eastern coastal plains are divided into two main parts: the northern Sircars to the north and the Coromandel coast to the south. Now let us know about some other features of the coastal plains. Now we will see that there are a number of east flowing rivers. We have already discussed about the east flowing rivers like the Godavari, the Krishna, the Kaveri, the Mahanadi, which flows through the eastern coastal plains and they form deltas. Now let us know what do you mean by deltas. A triangular shaped landform that is formed at the mouth of the river by the deposition of the sediments carried by the river is called a delta. The Ganga and the Brahmaputra form the world's largest delta, the Sundarban Delta. Now, what do you mean by the mouth of the river? Mouth of the river is the point where the river enters into the sea. Whereas the west flowing rivers, the Narmada and the Tapi, that flows through the western coastal plains, they forms estuaries. Now let us know what do you mean by estuaries. An estuary is a partly enclosed coastal body of brackish water with one or more rivers or streams flowing into it and with a free connection to the open sea. There are many islands in the Arabian Sea and the Bay of Bengal, and these islands are near to the Indian mainland and they form the part of the Indian subcontinent. These two groups of islands are the Andaman Nicobar Islands and the Lakshwadeep Islands. So now let us know about the islands. The islands. There are many islands in the Bay of Bengal and the Arabian Sea which are near the Indian mainland and they are part of India. There are two groups of island in India and they are Andaman and Nicobar Islands in the Bay of Bengal and the Lakshwadeep Islands in the Arabian Sea. Now let us talk about the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. These are two groups of about 300 islands in the Bay of Bengal and it forms the Union Territory of India. The northern island is called the Andaman, and the southern island is called the Nicobar. The southernmost part of this island is Indira Point, which got submerged during the tsunami. We will see that the capital of the Andaman and Nicobar Islands is Port Blair. Now, the Andaman and Nicobar Islands are mostly inhabited by the tribal communities, among which the most dominant tribal community is the Jarwas. There are other tribal communities like the Santalis, we have the Onge tribes and other different tribal peoples who live in the Andaman and the Nicobar Islands. Now, in Andaman and Nicobar Islands, we will find the barren island, which is the only active volcano in India. So, Andaman and Nicobar Islands are two groups of about 300 islands in the Bay of Bengal, and they form the Union Territory of India. The northern islands are called the Andaman and the southern islands are called the Nicobar. The southernmost part of the Andaman and Nicobar Islands is the Indira Point. Port Blair is the capital of Andaman and Nicobar Island. Here we will find the barren island, which is the only active volcano of India. Now let us move ahead with the Lakshwadeep Islands. Now let us talk about the Lakshwadeep Islands. These are group of about 36 islands in the Arabian Sea. They also forms an Union Territory of India. It is close to the Malabar coast. Lakshwadeep Islands, the capital is Kavaratti. It is very famous for the Pitti bird sanctuary. Only few of the islands are inhabited in Lakshwadeep Islands. It is very famous for the Pitti bird sanctuary. The Lakshwadeep Islands are also known as the Coral Islands. Now let us know what you mean by coral and why Lakshwadeep Islands are known as the Coral Islands.
What are polyps? Corals are skeletons of tiny marine animals called polyps. When the living polyps die, their skeletons are left. Other polyps grow on top of the hard skeleton, which grows higher and higher, thus forming the coral islands. In Lakshwadeep Islands, the suitable conditions which are required for the growth of polyps, that is climate and sea water, is available. And that is why many of the islands in Lakshwadeep are formed by the corals, and we call Lakshwadeep Islands as the Coral Islands.
I hope all of you understood the topics that we have covered in today's video. This is a continuation video. In the part 1 video, we had discussed about the 3 physiographic divisions that are the northern mountains, the northern plains and the western desert. And in this video, we have discussed about the other 3 physiographic divisions, the Peninsula Plato, the coastal plains and the islands. If you have any problem, let me know by just a comment in the comment box given below. You can also take the help of the PDF PDF that has been attached in the description box, which will make the chapter easy for you people to understand. If you like my video, don't forget to hit the like button, do share my video, and don't forget to subscribe my channel to watch more videos on different topics. I will be back soon with a new topic and a new chapter. Till then, take care and stay safe. Thank you.